Ergo Proxy. Ergo Proxy is a proxy form of Vincent Law. Vincent is a 24-year-old immigrant from Mosque who initially works as an auto reeve repairman in Ramdo, a futuristic dome city where humans live alongside android helpers called auto reeves. Vincent's life changes drastically when he discovers that he is actually Ergo Proxy, the proxy of death, referring to himself as the agent of death. Ergo Proxy was created by Proxy One, the original and true self of Ergo Proxy, who calls Vincent his shadow. Proxy One is the creator and supervisor of Ramdo Dome and the main antagonist of the series. He made Ergo Proxy from a part of himself to help bring about the destruction of humanity due to his anger at how humans treated the Proxies, especially Monad Proxy. Ergo Proxy is seen as a godlike figure in Ramdo, essential for the city's survival. Vincent's human form lives in denial of his godlike nature and the flaws he carries. To cope, he suppresses his memories through amnesia and lives as Vincent Law, working hard as an immigrant in Ramdo's lower class, hoping to become a full citizen. His journey is one of self-discovery, as he struggles to accept his identity as both human and proxy. This internal conflict is a major theme of the show, his desire to control the beast within him, and his eventual acceptance of his proxy form. Vincent Law's personality is complex. He is often seen as quiet and reserved, avoiding conflict and seeking peace, which fits the Enneagram Type 9 personality. He is also an ISTJ personality type, meaning he is introverted, practical, and organized, yet struggles with his identity and emotions throughout the series. Proxy One. Proxy One is thousands of years old and was the first of the 300 proxies made by the creator to help restore Earth's environment after a disaster. Proxy One built and ruled the dome city of Ramdo, where he was worshipped as a god. Over time, however, the people's feelings toward him changed from love to fear and rejection, which caused him to isolate himself. Proxy One's story takes a dark turn when he discovers the true purpose and fate of the proxies. This knowledge drives him into a deep depression and fills him with hatred toward humans and a desire to punish the creator who made them. Despite this, he finds some comfort in his love for Monad. Proxy One leaves Ramdo to live with Monad, but leaves Donov Mayer in charge of Ramdo as regent. The peace is shattered when Donov attacks Mosque, firing 2 Rapture missiles and capturing Monad to lure Proxy One back. Proxy One tries to stop the missiles but fails, and Mosque is destroyed. This event reignites his hatred for humanity. To carry out his revenge, Proxy One separates part of himself to create Vincent Law, as you know, and sends him to Ramdo to start a plan to punish Donov and sabotage the Proxy project. Proxy One returns to Ramdo to keep it running until the right moment to act. Proxy One manipulates events throughout the series, including causing missile launches that destroy domes and instigating conflict between dome cities. His goal is to ruin the creator's plan to wipe out the Proxies and humanity. Proxy One's hatred leads him to destroy Amnesia, the memory keeper auto reeve, to prevent Vincent from recovering his true memories. He also kills Donov Mayer. Proxy One has immortality thanks to Amrita cells, which let him regenerate and stop aging. Only sunlight or another proxy can kill him. He can shapeshift, sometimes appearing as Vincent Law or changing his form based on his emotions. He moves at super speed and can create telekinetic shockwaves. He also has telepathic abilities to communicate mentally or invade minds. At the end of the series, Proxy One is defeated by Vincent, Ergo Proxy, using a combination of physical attacks and exposure to sunlight. Even though Proxy One dies, his plan partly succeeds because Vincent survives sunlight, which was thought impossible. This survival ruins the creator's original plan to end the Proxies. Monad Proxy. Monad is the proxy of Mosque Dome and represents birth. She is the opposite of Ergo Proxy, who is the proxy of death. She is considered the agent of life and is considered the creator and protector of Mosque Dome. Monad's story is closely tied to Ergo Proxy and Proxy One. She and Proxy One fell in love, and together they made a deal to erase Ergo Proxy's memories so he could abandon his role as the proxy of death and live as a human. This process required a huge sacrifice from Monad, who put herself into a coma and lost her mind, effectively destroying her ability to protect Mosque. The memories erased from Ergo were stored in an amnesia, locked away in a special chamber that only a proxy pendant could open. Monad gave her pendant to Ergo, hinting that he might one day recover his past. After Monad was incapacitated, Donov Mayer attacked Mosque out of anger and revenge for Ergo Proxy abandoning Ramdo. This attack destroyed Mosque, and Monad's comatose body was taken back to Ramdo to replace Proxy One, who was missing. Daedalus Umano, the head of Ramdo's Health and Welfare Bureau, was put in charge of keeping Monad unconscious and comatose. Scientists noted that Monad's physical gender was unclear, and her body showed signs of surgical tampering, likely from experiments done by Ramdo's scientists. Monad eventually wakes up due to the Pulse of Awakening, an event that triggers Proxy's consciousness. She escapes the facility, driven by an instinct to reunite with Ergo Proxy, which leads to the deaths of many Ramdo citizens. However, she is killed by Ergo Proxy during this escape. Later, Daedalus creates a clone of Monad named Rial. This clone has all of Monad's powers and memories, but grows quickly and has the face of Rael Mayer, another character who is believed to be a partial clone of Monad. Rael was created by combining Donov's DNA with Monad's cells, giving her a family connection to Donov. Rial also shares Monad's love for Ergo Proxy. Monad's fate in the series mirrors the Greek myth of Icarus. After gaining wings, she flies too close to the sun and disintegrates. Kazkis Proxy. Kazkis Proxy is the proxy of Asura Dome and is known as the agent of light or brilliance. He usually takes on a human form under the name Kazkis Hauer. Kazkis' story is deeply tied to his lover, Senex Proxy, the proxy of Charos Dome. The two built towers in their respective domes to meet and exchange vows once they awakened. Their love was strong, born from shared suffering and grief as proxies. However, Kazkis was unable to reunite with Senex because she was killed during an attack on Charos. When Kazkis found Vincent Law and Pino at the ruins of Charos, he took them to Asura. Kazkis had already figured out that Vincent was a proxy and blamed him for Senex's death. Kazkis hoped Vincent could fill the void left by Senex, but when he realized Vincent had no memories of his past, Kazkis became angry. He attacked Vincent to force him to awaken as a proxy. During their confrontation, Kazkis revealed his feelings for Vincent, comparing it to the love he had for Senex. Vincent, confused and denying killing Senex, fled, which enraged Kazkis even more. The fight escalated when Kazkis dropped his human disguise and showed his true proxy form. He pushed Vincent to remember who he really was and why he had erased his memories. Vincent eventually transformed into Ergo Proxy and fought back. Despite being shot and wounded, Vincent managed to defeat Kazkis. Before dying in the fire he created, Kazkis warned Vincent about the dangers of running from the truth and spiritually reunited with Senex. Senex Proxy. Senex Proxy is the agent of moonlight. She takes the form of a female and is the creator and supervisor of Charos. One of her main physical features is the feeler-like strips extending from her head, which she uses as weapons to skewer her enemies. Senex had a romantic relationship with Kazkis Proxy. However, Senex was defeated by Ergo Proxy, which deeply affected Kazkis. In his grief and anger, Kazkis sought to avenge her death, though his attack resulted in his own death. It's implied that after death, Kazkis and Senex reunited in spirit. Senex plays a significant role as an antagonist during the conflict involving Ergo Proxy. She leads the defense of Charos Dome and attacks the survivors trying to escape or invade. Her attacks are deadly and precise, using her head strips to impale opponents. Will Be Good. Will Be Good is the proxy in charge of Smileland. He first appears in a dream experienced by Pino where he warns about the trouble that will come if Vincent Law arrives in Smileland. Unlike many other proxies, Will Be Good seems reluctant to fight and shows a friendly, almost cheerful personality. Despite this, he clearly fears death and is anxious about his own survival. Smileland, the city he oversees, is unique compared to other domes. It has a cartoonish, almost theme park-like atmosphere, which is why many fans think Will Be Good is inspired by Walt Disney and his Disneyland. This connection fits with the playful, whimsical vibe of Smileland and its inhabitants, who are mostly auto reeves. Will Be Good is important because he is the first proxy to explain that when two proxies meet, they must fight each other. This rule becomes a big deal later in the series during the Pulse of Awakening, which causes proxies to become more active and aware. Will Be Good's warning sets the stage for the conflicts that happen when proxies cross paths. Swan. Swan is one of the mysterious proxies. She appears mostly in Vincent Law's dreams, but her true motives are unclear throughout the series. Many fans and clues in the show suggest that Swan might actually be a form of Monad Proxy, either consciously or subconsciously influencing Vincent. This idea is supported by Kazkis Proxy's revelation that he and Monad were lovers, and by Vincent's own emotional reactions when he sees Monad in a comatose state. Swan's behavior, especially her jealousy and irritated tone when talking to Vincent, hints at a deep emotional connection, which fits with the idea that she could be linked to Monad. If Swan is Monad or connected to her, it raises questions about how she can access Vincent's conscious and subconscious mind. The show hints that some proxies have the power to influence others' minds, like Will Be Good did with Pino, or Senex Proxy's control over a woman in a prison cell. So Swan's presence in Vincent's dreams might be a form of mental or spiritual influence that proxies can exert over each other. Another theory is that Swan is actually an extension of Proxy One's manipulation. Proxy One hates Monad because she took away his instrument of death, Ergo Proxy. Since Vincent's memories were taken by Monad to protect him, Proxy One can't use him as a weapon anymore. To get revenge, Proxy One torments Vincent in different ways, and Swan might be one of those ways. She could be trying to break Vincent's connection with Riel Mayer, who represents his desire to become human, since Riel is a human clone linked to Monad. By doing this, Swan would be pushing Vincent back toward his role as Ergo Proxy, which Proxy One wants.